Hey, so this is going to be a quick video about my experience coming from post-Soviet country, Lithuania, moving to US. I still remember when I was little standing in line, and my grandmother used to always say, "Oh, you gotta go early to take up a spot on a line." Lines was like a thing. Was like a thing everywhere. It was grocery store lines, clothing lines. There wasn't enough of everything for everybody, and everybody, when you do get stuff, it would have the same item, the same carpet, the same sofa, like your neighbors. That's what communism is. That's what socialism is. And no matter if you busted your ass for 50 hours a week or 20 hours a week, you had the same stuff and you um, earn the same money. And in theory, for people that never experienced communism, it sounds a utopian world. Everybody is equal. They have the same house, the same everything. But that's not how human nature works. We are incentivized. Some people are incentivized to work harder, but because they want more things, more rewards. And that's how free economy works: supply and demand, entrepreneurship, taking risks, willing to work harder, longer hours. You should be able to reap more rewards and have nicer things, if you want to. It's a free world. Now, in New York City, now they almost looks like they're gonna elect he calls himself democratic socialist, but what he's saying a lot is actually communistic ideas: seizing private property, doing government ran grocery stores. And that he says that never had ran business in his life before, to my knowledge. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know that much. I don't know much about him because I'm not too interested. But what I've heard, running business is hard. Imagine government running DMV. How smooth is that? Do you really enjoy that process? Government run housing programs. Do you really enjoy that all process paperwork? And actually it does more damage than good oftentimes, because it traps people into these systems sometimes. Yeah, we need to help people that are disabled, elderly, and kids. We need to have government programs for those. We need to have government take care of the safety, support the law enforcement and different programs we have. Yes, we can have subsidized education. Those are great things. But when you start talking about seizing private property, you have competing with local little shop owners trying to sell groceries. Now you're investing millions of dollars into grocery stores, probably in a shop that's not going to be ran efficiently because it's not for profit organization. The thing is, for profit organizations, they evolve and win or not self-select because of supply and demand. When you have planned economy like in communism, there's going to be shortages. And then also what happens, because some people want to have more than others, what happens, corruption starts to happen. Because okay, there's a person that works harder, and then they feel like, well, I'm not being rewarded. Why am I getting the same shit or the same amount of bread like my neighbor who's sitting on his ass? And then you get corruption, you get bribery. That's what was happening in the Soviet world. When I was growing up, we just emerged from it because I was born around the time that it fell. But I still saw the emergence from it. There was still a lot of cultural remnants that was still in my childhood. And I remember getting like bananas, getting oranges. That was like, wow, oh my god, that's so the people were not used to having these things because there wasn't free economy. With the rest of the world, in the Soviet world, people couldn't afford, because you'd have very small salaries, because based on that system, well, why do you need a salary? Why do you need private property? Why do you need to own a car? Why do you need? Because we have the public transportation, we have the buses for everybody, or we have these Soviet housing. You don't need to own nice furniture or equipment or anything. It is not a good system, I'm telling you. It sounds like, well, it would be nice if everybody just were given all the basic needs, but then you still, I mean, eventually, if we can do that, if we can have base for everybody, but then you shouldn't punish people that have more. You shouldn't tax more people that contribute more to the economy, that create more businesses, that create more jobs, that own properties, that are willing to rent out to people that cannot buy property, because they're going to be incentivized, and they're going to move somewhere where they can do their business, or people gonna just get demotivated. We do need reward, like even when business, when I'm running my business, it is, people are incentivized by rewards. This is the nature. You're not gonna work extra if you're not getting extra paid for it. So if you want to work extra without getting paid extra, then I guess you would like communism and socialism. But if you don't like that, you probably be better in uh, capitalism. Capitalism is not perfect, but it is far the most innovation friendly, most progress friendly setup. So this is talking from my experience, not from any books, not from anything, because I grew up, I've seen that. My parents lived through it, my grandparents lived through it, and there's still countries that live like that today. So if you want to go travel there, or you could move there potentially if you like it. And let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'm not claim to know everything, just sharing my experience. Hope everybody has a brilliant day.